Dodging projectiles, racism from staff, and speculation from all sides. These are just some of the challenges the royal family has faced since Charles became king. It's been a while since the whole world's been obsessed with the late Queen Elizabeth II's eldest son, so perhaps it's understandable that King Charles III didn't think twice about showing some frustration in public shortly after his mother's death. Between mourning the Queen and attending dozens of engagements, it's likely the new monarch was more than a little exhausted. In a video published by The Guardian, Charles can be seen gritting his teeth in frustration as he signals a palace aide to remove a tray of pens taking up too much space on his desk. Naturally, this video soon went viral and the media had a field day. What's more, if his very obvious irritation at a couple of pens wasn't making enough waves already, Charles had another blunder a few days later when he loudly complained about a leaky pen while signing another round of documents. The king's frustration at yet another writing utensil ensured that he made many headlines in the subsequent days. Clearly, the new monarch and expensive pens weren't getting along, and while some were sympathetic to Charles's situation, others saw his behaviour as spoiled. Within days of becoming England's new monarch, critical headlines began swirling around King Charles after it became public knowledge that Prince Harry would not be allowed to wear his military uniform to Queen Elizabeth's vigil. The fact that Harry was no longer a working member of the royal family was cited as the reason for this decision, but media outlets like The Independent quickly pointed out that Prince Andrew, who was also no longer a working royal thanks to his ties with the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, was allowed to wear his military uniform at the event. This perceived snub set tongues wagging, but it appears Charles was already fed up with all the drama. Not long after the press ran with the story, Rebecca English, the Daily Mail's royal editor, shared on X, formerly Twitter, that Charles himself requested Harry be allowed to don his military uniform at the vigil. That wasn't the end of the drama, however. The Queen's initials were removed from Harry's uniform, whereas Andrew's suit was left unaltered. According to the Sunday Times, Harry felt this was intentional. Hurt and embarrassed, sources told the publication he nearly went without the military garb despite his father's intervention. It's already bad enough when the press writes derogatory stories about you, but getting publicly humiliated by a crowd is another sort of hell altogether. King Charles and Queen Camilla made headlines in York in November 2022 when a lone protester among the gathered crowd threw several eggs their way. One of the eggs nearly hit its target, landing just shy of Charles's right foot. Of course, Charles wasn't scared of some roadside scramble. He continued greeting the gathered officials as if nothing happened. Camilla, on the other hand, threw a concerned look at the crowd, perhaps fearing that the assailant was armed with another egg. The crowd started booing after the first egg hit, and the protester could be heard shouting about how their nation was built on violence and slavery as police officers moved to detain him. Charles kept his cool and reportedly calmly turned to Joe Ropner, Lord Lieutenant for North Yorkshire, suggesting they move on to their next destination.
And I think, we've seen Charles before deal with these situations, just carries on.
Not long after ducking eggs in York, King Charles was faced with yet another royal scandal, this time thanks to his late mother's lady-in-waiting, Lady Susan Hussey, who caused quite a stir at a palace reception. Various heads of several charities gathered for the Violence Against Women and Girls reception, and while most seemed to have a great time, Sister Space founder Ngozi Fulani found herself questioned extensively by Hussey about her origins. Fulani recalled that after telling Hussey multiple times that she was born and raised in the UK, Hussey repeatedly asked where in Africa the philanthropist called home. The more Fulani tried to explain that she was a British citizen, the more Hussey pressed.
So then she says, no, but where are you from? So I said, I was born here. Yeah, but where are you from?
Fulani evidently had enough and granted an interview to The Independent about the experience, in which she called the situation a case of institutional racism. Hussey resigned from her role with immediate effect, and the palace released a statement condemning her actions. Despite Hussey being Prince William's godmother, the Prince of Wales himself released a statement disavowing her actions. Needless to say, it'll take the palace a while to live this one down. Things were just starting to quiet down after the palace's latest racism scandal when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle dropped their long-awaited Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan. To make matters even more complicated for the king, Netflix released the series in 2 installments, which meant Buckingham Palace's subsequent scrutiny would last twice as long. Harry and Meghan both made some pretty shocking claims in the documentary. In one episode, Harry revealed how, when he had a talk with his family about stepping back from their royal roles, things quickly turned nasty. Harry recalled the conversation in an interview, describing how his brother angrily shouted and his father outright lied, while Elizabeth failed to intervene. A friend of Meghan's also claimed that the royal family was happy to let Meghan take all the media heat so they could keep their own misdemeanors out of the press. In response to these actions, Harry explained, "They were happy to lie to protect my brother, and yet for 3 years they were never willing to tell the truth to protect us." It's no secret that both Piers Morgan and Jeremy Clarkson loathe Meghan Markle. One would think that the palace would want nothing to do with them, but then Queen Camilla made the dire mistake of inviting both reporters to the 2022 Christmas lunch at Buckingham Palace. It might have been the season to be jolly, but King Charles found his household facing quite the scandal shortly before Christmas arrived. The lunch, which was attended by upstanding guests like Dame Maggie Smith, Dame Judi Dench and Claudia Winkleman, was tainted in the public eye by the presence of Morgan and Clarkson. While their attendance alone raised some eyebrows, Clarkson then went ahead and published possibly the most derogatory article about Meghan to date the very next day. In a piece for The Sun, he wrote, "I hate her on a cellular level. At night, I'm grinding my teeth and dreaming of the day she is made to parade naked through the streets of every town in Britain while the crowds chant shame and throw lumps of excrement at her." While several people, including Clarkson's own daughter, denounced the piece, the palace remained silent. Just as the buzz surrounding Harry and Meghan died down, Prince Harry dropped yet another bombshell with his tell-all memoir, Spare. In the book, Harry gives the world a glimpse of what King Charles is like as a father, and it's clear that despite their differences, Harry and Charles have had a loving relationship for most of their lives. It wasn't always smooth sailing, however. For example, Harry recalled that Charles once made a hurtful joke in reference to the media speculation that Harry wasn't actually his son, but instead born of the affair between James Hewitt and Princess Diana. Harry recalled him saying, "Who knows if I'm even your real father? Perhaps your father really is in Broadmoor, my dear son." Aside from chronicling his relationship with his father, Harry also depicted mixed experiences he had with his older brother. He described how he and William begged their father not to marry Camilla and recalled a nasty fight he and William had over Meghan that allegedly ended with William physically attacking him. On top of all that, Harry also claimed that rather than learning of the Queen's passing from his family, he found out about it on BBC while travelling to see them. Not long after Spare hit shelves, news broke that King Charles had asked Harry and Meghan Markle to vacate Frogmore Cottage. The couple used to live there while they were working royals and used it as a home base whenever they visited the UK.
It was a place where we had so many memories. From our courtship, our engagement, our wedding, our walks.
According to The Sun, Charles set the eviction in motion shortly after Harry published his memoir, offering the cottage to his brother Prince Andrew instead. Many thought this a little ironic, given that Andrew has caused plenty of trouble for the royal household in the past couple of years. Regardless, sources told The Sun that Charles kicking the Sussexes out of their UK home, which had initially been a wedding gift from Queen Elizabeth, signalled nothing but trouble. However, while sources speculated whether Harry and Meghan would ever return to the UK, let alone attend Charles's upcoming coronation, Harry and Meghan appeared unruffled by the eviction. Their spokesperson told The Times that they weren't resisting the King's request, saying it's not going to work out for them there, and that's okay. Many seem to think that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle wanted to be invited to King Charles's coronation, but Meghan shocked the world when it was revealed that she would not be there to witness her father-in-law ascending the throne. Tabloids immediately started speculating about why Meghan had turned down the invitation, with some, like the Mirror, claiming that it had something to do with their correspondence after her and Harry's explosive interview with Oprah Winfrey. The Telegraph, for example, reported that Charles reached out to Meghan after the interview, saddened by the couple's gradual estrangement from the royal family. Meanwhile, The Telegraph also reported that one of the reasons Meghan stayed home was because it was her son Prince Archie's birthday on May 6th, or that she suspected her attendance would cause controversy and take media attention away from the main event. It seems Harry was thinking on similar lines. After a respectful appearance at his father's coronation ceremony, at which he was seated much further back than the other members of the royal family, Harry also decided to make a break for it. As BBC reported, within minutes of the end of the ceremony, he too was on his way home to celebrate Archie's birthday. It's no secret that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's relationship with the press is more than just a little complicated. The couple talked extensively about the challenges they faced because of the media during their time as working royals, with Harry going as far as to say the British tabloids were responsible for Meghan's miscarriage. It's no surprise then that Harry took legal steps against Mirror Group newspapers, which owns the newspapers that have been publishing royal news and scandals since their inception, and Associated Newspapers, which publishes the Daily Mail. Harry sued the former for unlawful information gathering and the latter for breaches of privacy. Harry didn't initially appear in court, but did provide evidence in June 2023, becoming the first senior royal to do so since Edward VII appeared in a slander trial in 1890. Harry and Meghan have also publicly condemned the way photographers invaded their privacy, and in May 2023, the couple's spokesperson released a statement regarding a, quote, near-catastrophic car chase the couple experienced while in New York for an event. Several vehicles pursued them for some time, but luckily the chase didn't result in any accidents. The incident naturally made headlines, given that Harry's mother, Princess Diana, died in an accident that resulted from a paparazzi chase.
Back in my mum's days, it was physical harassment. cameras in your face, following you, chasing you.
In one of the court filings in his ongoing lawsuit against the press, Prince Harry revealed that the royal family is the reason he didn't file a lawsuit against the tabloids in the past. He said he learned about a secret agreement between the royal family and news group newspapers which curtailed an earlier attempt to sue them. Under this agreement, the family committed to not bring legal action and settle out of court. This is probably why King Charles reached out to Harry to try and convince him to drop the lawsuit when he finally decided to take legal action against the company in 2019. He revealed to the court, "I was summoned to Buckingham Palace and specifically told to drop the legal actions because they have an effect on all the family." Harry elaborated that these instructions came directly from his father and members of his staff, while the prince alleged that the son had also hacked Prince William's phone in the past. However, the Prince of Wales settled with the newspaper outside of court and reportedly received a massive sum for his cooperation.